let's get into this, because this is what we're doing. We just rewarding despicable behavior.
Well, the board says they and Superintendent Dr. Diana Green mutually decided to part ways, and they claim that Diana Green was intended to retire before the arrest of Douglas Anderson teacher Jeffrey Clayton.
It is very difficult.
Let me tell you something. There was no mention of her wanting to retire before this shit happened.
To part ways with somebody who has done good work on behalf of students and for Duval County Public Schools.
Following the announcement of Superintendent Dr. Green's retirement, board members admitted it was a hard day for them, and despite the vote, agreed she positively impacted the county.
She has provided an increase in the resources for our teachers and staff.
It certainly was not my intent to see Dr. Green retire. Putting students first is our first job, and it is of utmost importance.
Green has been under pressure since the removal of several Douglas Anderson staff members, including former music teacher Jeffrey Clayton, who was arrested in March for inappropriate conduct with a student.
20
Last
years.
week, the State Board of Education said under Green, the school district failed to report other teacher complaints.
We're not here by accident. She's not retiring early. She's been forced out.
The board says it hired a third-party investigator into the matters. Board member Daryl Willey says the goal...
See how contradicting that was? She was planning to retire, but then she's forced out, this dude says.
...is to also look into former school district administrators.
That investigation will take into consideration all of that, all the back pieces and all the history that's happened, and not just DA, but also any other school. We want to make sure kids are safe.
The contract the board agreed to sign with Green says she will fully cooperate with the board in any investigations of events during her tenure. In the upcoming weeks, the board says it will decide on the next steps to appoint someone as interim superintendent until a more permanent decision can be made. Outside of Duval County Public Schools, Taylor Levack, First Coast News, on your side.
Are we saying that when we push that?
Now, don't get me wrong. I think she was just the fall guy for all this shit, for the most part too, because that teacher, Jeffrey Clayton, has had numerous complaints put on him for the last 20 years of being inappropriate with students. I think Miss Green was the fall guy and was doing good things for the school district and shit like that, but that doesn't negate the fact that you knew what the fuck was going on and you didn't do nothing about it. You didn't fire his ass or none of that. And then this is what we do for people who cover up crimes.
Now to a story that's positively Jax. Tonight, community members gathered at the library in downtown Jacksonville to honor Dr. Diana Green for her years of service with Duval County Public Schools.
And she now has a section in the children's library named after her. News4 Jax reporter Khalil Maycock joining us live. Now, Khalil, that not the only big surprise Dr. Green received tonight.
It wasn't, but Dr. Green says having a section named after her in the building behind me is something that she's excited about. But she says that surprise didn't trump everything because a member from the mayor's team came out here and gave her a proclamation. That proclamation says today, July 7th, is Dr. Diana Green Day in Jacksonville. But this is a video of the Dr. Diana Green posing for a picture in front of her newly unveiled section inside of the library. The outgoing DCPS superintendent was presented the honor at a community celebration for her. Community members gathered to honor Dr. Green's 5 years of service and contributions to the school district. During the service, people talked about Dr. Green being the district's first Black permanent superintendent, fighting for education, changing school names that honored Confederate leaders, and helping promote the half-cent sales tax for education. Dr. Green also addressed how the ending of her career in the district was a bit tumultuous, but the celebration is a great close to that chapter.
I am leaving this district better than I found it, and I am satisfied with
done for the past 5 years, celebrating our students. And what I really would say to anyone who would criticize is that come out of the stands, get off the bench, and get in the game.
And Dr. Green says she does want people to work with DCPS to help make the school district better. As for what she's doing next, she wasn't able to announce that, but she says it will deal with her helping to support children. Reporting live, Cleo Maycock, Channel 4, the local station.
Now, like I said, the lady has done some good things for the school system. But I don't give a fuck how much good she's done for the school system when you're covering up crimes against children. You've been there the last 5 years. The dude was reported on first 20 years ago, and he's still a teacher. You mean to tell me that the rumor mill, she never got wind of the rumor mill? Come on now. You know, in jobs like that, everybody knows in jobs like that, everybody knows everybody's business. The walls talk in big jobs like that, corporate jobs and shit like that. I do not respect the fact that she had a hand in covering this shit up the last 5 years. We shouldn't be rewarding her or none of them. Dr. Nikolai Viti, who was the previous superintendent before her, that left here to go be the superintendent in his home state of Michigan, I think is where it is, and the superintendent before him, and all of them that was here. The whole time, dude's crimes was being covered up. This is some bullshit. They wonder why these kids are like they are and don't trust nobody, don't listen to nothing that the older people say or any of that. Because look how they're treated. They say something, teachers fucking with them, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. They go and tell an authority figure, and what happens is covered up. Nah, bruh. Nah, I do not respect this shit. I think the library is fucked up. The mayor, the outgoing mayor and the incoming mayor, both fucked up for doing this too. They are under, the whole school board is under investigation for covering up pedophile fucking crimes. And we reward this shit by naming a fucking library after somebody and giving her a day. She had a hand in this shit. Matter of fact, let's look up, see who all the superintendents were the last 20 years who had a hand in this shit. Okay, here we go. All these people from roughly 1983 to now So from roughly this dude Herb saying on up, all these motherfuckers need to be investigated. Because they was all covering up dude's crimes. Multiple reports. Multiple teachers from the same damn school. Finna show you.
More turmoil and turnover at
It's
Douglas
actually
Anderson
5
School of the
teachers,
Arts.
but I
We just
can't
learned
find
a
the
fourth
report that
teacher
says
at the
the
magnet
fifth
school
five.
has been removed from the classroom. The principal of Douglas Anderson alerted parents today that Corey Thayer has been reassigned based on information received during the ongoing investigation. Thayer is chair of the school's Cinematic Arts Department.
Also, the News4JAX team has just obtained a scathing letter the state sent to Duval Superintendent Dr. Diana Green, accusing her of failing to report teacher misconduct to Tallahassee in a timely manner and threatening to slash her salary. The letter says Duval schools failed to report 50 cases to the state's Office of Professional Practices Services dating back to 2020 until last week. The education commissioner says delays in reporting are unacceptable. However, skeptics are suggesting these accusations are politically motivated. News4JAX team investigator Ann Maxwell joins us live from school board head.
So, pedophilic crimes are politically motivated. Now, if there was never a history of that type of shit at this school, then yeah, I could agree with that. But there's one teacher for sure that's been complained on multiple times for the past 20 years.
With a response from Dr. Green, and what's next? Ann?
Mary, Dr. Green responded just in the past 2 hours saying she had no idea these 50 cases weren't reported. She's vowed to look into the matter and take appropriate action. All of this is coming just a day before
50 cases in her 5-year tenure. That is 10 cases a year for y'all that can't add and subtract.
just in the past 2 hours saying she had no idea these 50 cases weren't reported. She's vowed to look into the matter and take appropriate action. All of this is coming just a day before the school board is set to meet here tomorrow to discuss hiring an outside attorney to investigate complaints the district mishandled misconduct allegations from a longtime DA teacher who is now charged with lewd behavior involving a student. 3 sources have told the
So, let's hear that again.
Complaints. The district mishandled misconduct allegations from a longtime DA teacher who is now charged with lewd behavior involving a student. 3 sources have told the I-Team Dr. Green's job could be in jeopardy. Yesterday, supporters rallied at the DCPS headquarters in her support. In this letter, dated April 25th, Florida Department of Education Commissioner Manny Diaz said the State Department of Education found DCPS had previously investigated music teacher Jeffrey Clayton, who's now facing criminal charges, dating as far back as 2006, without reporting.
At minimum, he was first investigated in 2006. Where there's smoke, there's fire, man. All these kids are not just saying this shit because he is a tough teacher.
allegations to the state's Office of Professional Practices Services. PPS investigates misconduct by licensed educators to determine if they have broken the law or violated the principles of professional conduct. Diaz also writes that on Friday, the district reported 50 cases to PPS that spanned the past 3 school years. Diaz writes, quote, "It is completely unacceptable that DCPS did not timely report these cases as required by Florida statute." He said Florida law requires school districts to report legally sufficient complaints to the department within 30 days of the complaint coming to the district's attention. He says superintendents who don't comply can be penalized with a 1-year forfeiture of their salary. Because we don't know what these 50 complaints are, we can't verify they meet the definition of legally sufficient to be reported to the state. The letter says criminal offenses must be reported to PPS within 24 hours of an individual's arrest or conviction, and Clayton was reported to PPS the month he was arrested. In response to the letter, Dr. Green released a statement saying she was surprised and angered to learn DCPS's Office of Professional Standards apparently had 50 delinquent case files that they just recently sent to the state. She writes, quote, "There were no audit findings on this topic in the January 2023 report. Therefore, until receiving the commissioner's letter, I had no indication that we were out of compliance with any file. I agree completely with the commissioner that delays in reporting cannot be tolerated. We will look into this matter further and take appropriate action following our review." School board member Lori Hershey said the letter is very concerning. Another school board member, Warren Jones, said, quote, "It's obvious Governor Ron DeSantis wants to see Dr. Green removed. And Jones wants to find out, quote, what's true and what's propaganda." School board chairwoman Dr. Kelly Coker said today she's deeply troubled to learn the district only recently sent those dozens of cases to PPS. She released a statement saying, "The children of Duval County deserve better. And as a board, we want to assure our community that the security and safety of their children in our schools will always be our #1 priority."
Just for full disclosure, I think everybody that works up there at the school board should be fucking fired since 2006. Everybody who knew about this shit should be fired. I don't give a fuck what you done and how good of a teacher and how many kids and all that. Once you start fucking with them and covering up crimes for people who are, it's over for you in my eyes. I don't give a damn what you done. Everybody that worked up there needs to be fired for this shit. And there is nobody talking about this shit here besides me. What the fuck is going on? Shit just blows my mind. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Cause this is some fuck shit.